Hey guys, what's going on? And we're back. Today we're trying something new. We're doing Ask Us Anything session. It's kind of like the backroom session where yeah, we're just gonna see. Maybe we should you said that you guys had a couple of comments. Maybe let's just start by reading out a couple of comments and what people have been thinking about our topic, which the topic we just talked about was what can we say on social media? Like how much are we getting censored? What's the right way to like communicate our ideas without being offensive? And is there going to be a way to not offend everyone? It's a really interesting topic, and something we have to think about getting into this space for sure.
Yeah, so a bit of a minefield, and everyone's got an opinion on it. Although what's interesting is that a lot of people don't want to say what they think. It's kind of one of those subjects or conversations where there's a zip over most of our mouths, and sometimes people open it a little bit and a little whistle comes out, like. But generally, people don't want to get in hot water, and that could be linked to with Kylie and her work, with you and your social connections, myself, and reaching out to people I don't know. So it's going to affect us all in some way. It's super interesting.
I think for myself, the way I want to kind of navigate this is, for one, I want to be very careful about the people I'm talking with. Like I was saying, like in Kylie's situation, her situation is so much different than yours or mine, Dean. And especially when I want to definitely bring like more interesting guests and stuff. And that might mean having like a conversation beforehand and being like, what are the boundaries of this conversation? Because I know when we were in our coaching community talking, there was people that didn't want to post on social media that they were taking a coaching course because they were worried about getting like fired from their jobs. And this blew my mind. I was like, who would do that? Why would that happen? I didn't understand. And then all of a sudden, as I saw when people started posting about things and like the backlash that was coming to them, I'm like, wow, this is a real thing. And it's like really powerful. And the last thing I would want is to be talking to somebody online and then me say something that like gets them in hot water. I think that's kind of
yeah. And I mean, when did the employers have the say over what you do in your time? You know, you could be doing this coaching course to, enhance your career. You know, who gets to say that what you're doing it for? What are your reasons behind it? That's your personal preference, and that should be up to you, no one else. So I think that's infringing on a lot of rights right there. It's a lot of rights in that sentence, but yeah.
I think the problem is that, like, when we're talking about employment, there's still a contract there between you and that employer where you've got a duty of care and potentially confidentiality, etc., etc. So it's really difficult, because if you're under contract and what you've said could be misconstrued or seen in a perspective as breaking that contract, I mean, obviously that's when you're in a situation where you do have to be careful with your words. You do have to be careful what you're saying and how that looks and how that's potentially going to represent the company that you're working for.
I think for me, that's why I'm choosing to go this route and be my own employer. Like that amount of control. I know I've talked about this before, but the fact of somebody controlling my life that much, where in my industry it was like, when can you go to the bathroom? When can you have your lunch? When can you talk? Can you not? It was like that amount of control for someone who I resonate with the word freedom so much was the most stifling thing in my life. And now coming here and hearing this again, it's like that control, where me in my own personal situation, I feel right now that I'm being controlled by somebody that I did not choose to have in my life. And that's a very hard thing to navigate for me right now. And that's a part of this whole social media and like talking about it. I want to talk about this openly and how my feelings are on it, how I'm going to navigate it, because there's other people that are in that exact situation. But then when I open my mouth to talk about it, said person is going to get offended or is going to feel like I am like lashing out at them or doing something against them, when I'm just trying to navigate my own space and my own feelings and figure out my own path forward. So
yeah, it's interesting.
Well, that's the beauty of being self-employed, isn't it? You don't have those restraints, and you can market yourself or brand yourself or talk about what you want in your own words and your own style, and that be okay. Or if there are any consequences to any of that, then that's on your head, be it. Like, that's for you to navigate it in whatever way you feel. So, you've got that freedom. It's obviously so different when you're involved in a corporation. And obviously the bigger the corporation, the probably more red tape there is to your outside life. Like, I know, for example, I know this is a little bit different, but I know, for example, when I was in law and, I was going for an interview or had training contract interviews coming up, when I was looking to be a solicitor, like, your social media, although it was still relatively new in those days, was a big factor. There was loads of stories going around about people being fired because of something they had put on Facebook or a video or some sort of drunken picture of them. So it was also that matter of sort of making sure that Facebook was squeaky clean. There was no drunken pictures or drunken antics. Not that my life is really that rock and roll, but that there wasn't anything like that on there that we brought up in interview that's why someone wouldn't hire you. And that was always very much at the forefront of my mind. Everything I did was like, well, I can't do that. Like, what? Or don't want to be seen to be doing this. Or I can't have any pictures like with me with a drink in my hand, because that could stop me getting a job.
It's interesting. So let's open it up. Let's open it up to the guys. We've got a few questions.
We do. We've got 7 people watching us at the moment. So ask us anything. It doesn't have to be on this topic. Absolutely anything about coaching, or mindset, or anything that comes to mind at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a few questions here already. So hello, Auntie Paula. I've got Jason, brilliant NLP earlier. Got Sharon Smith. We got Jeanette, who was also on NLP earlier. That was amazing. We've got Joseph. We've got Max. And we've got a few questions. So Jason says, is it on other people to put meaning to what we say, or is it our responsibility to mind everything we say by every possible person that can be offended in the world? So there you go, Jamie. You can answer that one.
That statement is, I think no, the answer to that, I'd say, is no. It's not up to us to determine if somebody else is going to get offended or not by what we say, because the whole idea of saying what we're saying is to resonate with those people that have the same ideals. There's always going to be a left and a right. You're always going to have a yin and a yang. You're always going to have a good and a bad. It's just how life is. But what I think the conversation is, how do we keep it from, if we're left, how do we have our opinion without slandering the right? Like in politics disgusts me. So that's going to be a term that people don't all resonate with. This is my opinion, because of, especially in America, I don't know if you guys have ever watched the debates, but it's one guy taking out the dirty pictures, just doing the bad thing, like saying, this guy sucks because of this guy sucks because of this. And it's not about the one party being like, we want to do this and make this a better place. It's like, you don't want to pick him because he spent money this way, or he was on Facebook drinking, or and it's like, how is that constructive at all? And that's what I want to get away from. I don't want to put somebody down. I want to lift me up. But the reality is, people like seeing that. People, what do they like? They like hearing stories about people. They want to hear the shit. They want to hear and that's what sells, right?
Sells, right? It sells. It's juicy.
And so what's your dirty secrets, Jamie? What's the one secret that you don't want to tell us right now?
The skeletons in my closet. Well, you know what? Go listen to my podcast, Making It Work, and I let all my secrets out there. Come listen to me and Lauren just spill the beans. I use a phrase that goes, I shouldn't be saying this, but that term comes a lot in that
podcast. That's how to podcast, Jamie.
Yeah, podcast. Okay, so we've got another one here from Janet. Maybe this one's for you, Kylie. When can you leave your job when are you starting to earn from your own online business? So basically what she's saying is, when is the right time to leave your job if you're going to transition into an online business?
I mean, I think that is a very, like, each case is their own situation, because obviously that depends on your financials. You know, if you're lucky enough that you've got some savings, or you're in a position where you're not having to worry about rent and the mortgage, then obviously you've got a much bigger freedom there. Like you could quit straight away. You know, you've found your passion, you've found what you want to be doing, and it's all steam ahead. Like, I'm in a situation where I am having to transition, and I've had to make a plan. So I know that I want to do coaching. I know that I want coaching to be my full-time vision, and that's where I want to be. But I also know that I've got to set that coaching business up. I've got to gain momentum. I've got to gain clients. And realistically, that's not going to happen overnight. That's going to be step by step by step, and it's going to take time. So I've given myself a timeline of when I realistically think from coaching I'll kind of be roughly sort of breaking even with my current like monthly salary. And for me, that's when I'm comfortable. Other people, it might just be when there's a bit of an income coming in, and if they're going to get into a bit of debt, they might not mind. Other people might want to be doing more than just breaking even with their current salary. But I would say, set yourself a timeline, set yourself like a realistic plan, and then it's something to work towards. And each one of those little steps that you take to launching your business, you're going to feel so empowered, so motivated, and you can see that progression. And then it's that like that main goal to leave the job, you're inching closer to it, and you can champion every step you take. And then it's a journey, and it's an enjoyable journey. It's not just, oh God, I've got to transition, I've still got to have this job, and what I really want to be doing is just coaching 24/7. Like, if you can make it as enjoyable as possible, that transition process, then that transition will be quite smooth and hopefully be quite happy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Can I put a book in there? There's a book I read about 10 years ago now. It was by, I don't know if you guys know who Tim Ferriss is, but he wrote a book called The 4-Hour Workweek, and it was all about transitioning from like your employment to actually it was remote working before remote working was a thing. And it's an excellent book that touches on all of that stuff, like the roadmap to how do I get ready to transition. And it's really, really well done. So if somebody wants some reading material on that topic, it's a really good read.
Yeah. Maybe you can put it in the comments after.
Mm-hmm.
Be a good little thing for people to do. All right, guys, any more questions? They've dried up a little. Oh,
Dun, dun, dun.
Chrissy Phillips, my brother Chris Phillips is watching. Chris the Bollocks Phillips. That's what they call him. Well, that's what he calls himself. No one else calls him that, but that's what he calls himself.
Catchy.
We actually call him Chav. So, all right, Chav, how you doing, mate? Jason again. Oh, I got another question from Jason. Jason's on fire here. Do you think vision boards are a necessary step to success?
Jamie, you know I'm looking at you.
Well, I have a vision board down there. I think the vision board, it's going to depend on the person. If you are a very visual person and like you connect with that and what you see, I found that I made one. I felt like I really needed to have it done, and it wasn't doing what I thought it would do. I found out a lot in my life where I do things and expect a certain outcome, and it doesn't happen the way I think. So for me, that's like, well, back to the drawing board. Let's try something different. Because for me, I'm a big person of like feelings and how an action makes me feel. That's what like motivates me, and that's what gets me moving. And having the images up there and stuff, it was really neat, but I didn't find it like inspiring me like they said it could. But you know what? I definitely would recommend trying it, because for the amount of time it takes to like cut out some fun pictures and like look what you want your life to be like it's an amazing, just going through that experience, if you haven't thought about it before, is awesome. Because you're like, do I want to live on a sailboat, or like do I want to do some van life? Do I want to take my kids out of school and homeschool them? Like, it's these questions that come up. And I think that's the biggest tool, is allowing ourselves to find these questions. And if doing a vision board allows a space to do that and ask someone a question, then I think it's a great tool. And I do think it's a great tool.
The thing is, you showed me a picture of your vision board, Jamie, and it was just full of topless women. So.
That's motivation. That's what motivates me.
Wow. Oh no, I was going to say, because Jamie and I had a couple of coaching sessions around his vision board, which is why I winked at him, because I knew at the beginning of our coaching journey, like, how important that was to you, to like visualize the freedom that this was going to give you. Have you got one, do you?
You know what was funny? I went round my mate's house, Amalia's. She's a holistic health coach, breath work. She does all different kind of things. So if you're watching Amalia, and she had all these girls come round, so I thought, oh, that's a great opportunity to, socialise. So they were all making this vision board, and I made one. I was kind of into it, not really. I was cutting up things, sticking things here and there, and I left it there with my painting. We went to a painting therapy. I think I mentioned this before. When I was painting with fingers, and it was she basically done me up like a kipper. She said that we're going to this art night. And it was art therapy, and I left that there as well. So half of my creative works around there. So I don't really, because I'm quite a visual person and I daydream a lot. So my vision board is in here. And plus the vision board is great. It gets you started, but a lot of people just stare at it and think that, it's all going to fall on their lap. With vision boards comes action. Otherwise, it's just a vision, right?
Yeah, it's that motivation, isn't it, to take the action? Yeah.
I would make an action board. I'd have a vision board, and then the action or the steps I took to get closer to that vision. I think that's a more pragmatic approach. Okay.
Yeah, I'm all about goal. I'm all about goal setting. Like, if I can see, like for example, really boring. Nothing, no thrills at all. I'm a complete dinosaur. If I can write something down, I'd rather do that than type it. But like, I literally give myself I don't know if I can see that. I literally give myself a list of 2 or 3 things on a piece of paper each day that I want to achieve. And when I get to tick them off at the end of the day, I just feel productive, and I feel like, yeah. And obviously most of the things that I'm ticking off at the moment, for me, in terms of a business sense, and it's just like, yeah, I'm creating that. I am creating that freedom. I'm creating that vision. Like, tick.
Amazing. So we've got a few more people who arrived. We've got James Maker. James Maker is, I'll be interested to know what question he pops in if he fancies a question. He's a bright cookie. Smart cookie.
I've got a couple of friends watching over here.
Yeah, nice.
Hannah. Hi, Grange. And Liz, who's my next door neighbour. Hi, Liz. They have the cutest dog. And a guy called Alex Bermudez, who I used to work with and genuinely torture. And he deserves a trophy for the fact that he put up with me for so many years. So, hi, Alex. Been too long.
Kylie, did you just say your neighbour's watching? What's your neighbour's name?
Liz.
Liz, put in a question for us. Or can you just let us know what she's like as a neighbour? Is she very loud, or does she not take the bins out? What's she like? I'll be very curious. So yeah, Liz, put in something. Let us know what she's like. And if you bang on is she above you or below you?
They're to the side of me.
Okay. Right, okay.
Nice.
Oh, and Alex says hi, Kylie. Hi, Alex.
Spill the beans, Liz.
Awesome. I got this working now, so I can see the comments on through StreamYard now. Do you guys have that too?
No.
Yeah.
Or are you watching it on your phone?
I'm watching it on my phone.
Nice. This is all a learning experience right now. It's like, put some love hearts if you're excited about what we're talking about right now. Love heart. Let's see. Oh, here we go. I'm hammering them out. Bum, 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 bum. Can you see that?
mean, Jason, where is Jason when you need him? Come on, Jason.
Come on, Jason.
Send those love hearts out.
This is pretty fun.
The thing is, though, if you do it too much, you go to Facebook jail. So be careful.
With the love hearts?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, maybe not love hearts. Maybe I got that
No.
wrong.
I was going to say, I mean, that's pretty brutal.
Facebook's changing, guys. I told you. You won't be able to send love hearts in the future.
No more love hearts. No more love
No
hearts.
more love heart.
Sweet.
You
Yeah,
got
I
any
think.
more questions? Is there any more questions?
No, I don't think.
No.
I guess we're just open books, guys. Like everybody knows everything about us.
People are quite shy. I'm quite surprised. My mates.
We're just going to have to sit here and like babble until someone sends us a question and shuts us up.
Oh, I'll tell you what. Let me,
can-
before we go, or we change, my mum's watching.
Hi, Dean's mum.
Yeah, my mum's watching. Mama
Is
Bear.
she in Romford?
She's in Tiptree, which sounds
Oh,
like a really horrible place, doesn't it? It's a place for like broken wood.
No, my hometown's Colchester. So Dean's mum, come have a cup of tea with me.
Yeah, there you go.
How do you see who's watching?
I go on my actual profile and then I click the live. If you click it, actually tap the actual thing.
So I see like.
Touch that. Touch it.
Which one? Where am I touching? Here?
Yeah.
Three
Touch the
dots?
actual, yeah. Touch the video. The actual video itself.
Yeah.
And then it should come up. And then it should come up as a different screen and all the comments.
There you go, guys.
Got
you got some technical information there too.
So that shows you but that only shows you who's commented.
Yeah.
I can see you on mine.
Oh, we got another question.
Oh, hit us.
Jason. Jason is actually a brilliant coach. Jason Borman. I've got his last name there. He's a Tottenham supporter as well. So I like him a lot. And he's a NLP practitioner. He's an NLP master practitioner as well. So if anyone out there want to speak to Jason, make sure you add him on Facebook. He's always around for a chat. So definitely someone to connect with. He says, this is a coaching question. He says, what are your favorite coaching techniques that you have learned? So maybe we can go around each one of us.
Mm-hmm. My favorite coaching techniques are based around, I'd say, goal setting. But for one, I'm going to answer it kind of this way. The most important thing I've learned from taking this coaching course is the skill of asking questions. Before I took the coaching course, I used to be that friend that I always felt like I had to give advice to be giving value. And I find that a lot in friendships where two people are talking and there's always the one person that wants to be giving the advice. And from coaching, I've learned that it's like the power of listening to what the person's saying and then just asking the next question to try and like open that conversation up more. And it feels a lot better now. And it's still something I'm working on. It's still, I'm 38 years old. I'm really stuck in my ways. So it's always reiterating that it's like, okay, I learned this skill, practice this skill. So
you don't look a day over 37.
Maybe I am 37. I'm losing my mind a little bit, so I could be 37. Thanks, Tara.
You know. No, you're looking good, mister. You got that beard going. Dean's got the hair. What about you, Dean?
You've got the moustache. Sorry, if people are not watching, that's called a pattern interrupt. So basically, if you want to get someone out of a state, you just say something quite random or something where they have to stop and think. So what's my one? Ooh.
Yeah. And you've got the NLP as well going on too.
Yeah, I mean, what I've learned this week is Jason report. I mean, I still can't get my head around it. I mean, the thing is with NLP, you're not there to understand it fully because they don't know the brain. They just don't. They only know NLP is based on therapists, and they decided to look at the results of people that were successful and those what really went on to do with their lives, and they just basically broke down what they did, and then they kind of created these therapies, and it's very visual. It's all visualization, and it's talking to the subconscious. It's getting people to do things with their eyes and their voice and change positions, and there's so much I don't know, but what I know of it is pretty crazy. So I learned a technique last week called parts integration. Yeah, parts integration. Maybe I got that wrong. I always get them confused. Anyway, and that was just crazy. I mean, but the accreditation, I go along with Jamie, what he was saying about the advice. You know, I've literally stopped giving people advice now. And that sounds terrible. If someone were to listen to that, they'd think I'm a complete cold arsehole. But in the sense that it's just I'm putting my views and my experience and my map of the world onto them, and that's not going to be helpful, you know. So it's getting them to know that the answers are in all of us. It's just shining, putting a light on the blind spots and getting, unearthing what is already there. Who, I can't tell you what you want out of your life. I can't tell you what to do in your life. Only you know that. And if you don't know that, then you have to go and search for it. I can't give you the answers. And I actually think that it's far crueler to do it that way, actually, to give people answers, to give people the shortcuts, because they're not.
Is it really what they want?
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. And that's another thing. We're not, as coaches, we're not here to give people we're not here to tell people what they want to hear.
No.
We're here to tell them what they need to hear, to improve, to go forward, to get from where they currently are to where they want to be. And for me, that's cool.
We are there, a large part, to challenge them.
Absolutely.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
And the one thing I heard from some friends was that coaching is self-help. And I still don't resonate with that, and I still don't agree with that. And I need to have the conversation more with them. Like, how is coaching self-help? There's still a person here helping someone to an outcome. It's just because we're trying to uncover the answers within themselves instead of giving them answers. To me, self-help is me going and picking up a book and reading a book and then figuring things out myself. Where with coaching, I think it's like the skill is asking questions to try and pull out or uncover what's inside them, but what they want to do.
And what you need to take on board there is that the person sitting in front of you is not going to know what question you're going to ask. And it's not that you're going to ask a simple question of who, what, when, and why. You're potentially going to throw out a real question from left field, throw them off kilter, and make them think in a completely different way and come to a different realization or a different thought that they hadn't previously been having, because you've worded something or said something that they would not have had to have previously answered.
Mm-hmm.
Self-help makes sense, right? But here's a question, or here's a good way to think about it. How, out of all the most successful people in the world, what do they all have in common?
They all have coaches?
They all have coaches. Why? Because we cannot. I can sit here and self-coach myself. I know a lot of techniques. I know a lot of tools. But the thing is, am I likely to really challenge myself? I can't, because there's doors I don't want to open. That's how we're designed. That's how fear works. We're designed so that there's things in my mind and it's like a hot pot, and I go towards it and I just can't even go near it, and I touch it and I'm scalded and it hurts, and thereon I don't want to go near it. So this idea of self-help is good to a point, but you're going to have to really put away the layers and to really reprogram your mind and how you think. You're going to need guidance and help, not to say that we have the answers, that's not right, but we're like a chaperone, we're like a shepherd of the mind, and we help you navigate through those stormy, choppy waters.
And in all honesty, will use coaches to get us through not necessarily difficult situations, but just anything that's going on in life. Because as you said, like, that person is there to shepherd you in a way that you wouldn't do yourself. You wouldn't, and it's not even necessarily always about the fear. It's just that someone will ask you a question that will give you poise for thought. It'll give you that moment to think, "Whew, have I ever really thought about it like that? Have I ever taken time to consider that? Probably not." So it unlocks things. It's that blind spot, like you said, maybe, but also that unlocking that you wouldn't do to yourself, because that isn't your question. Someone else is sitting there in front of you, guiding that conversation with a question that they think is poignant.
And that's interesting. I mean, because, every day we've got programs running, and they've been running subconsciously for a long, long time. So even the way you're thinking is on a program. So if you were to coach yourself and do the self-development, you're still running on the same program. So you're likely to avoid the situations, or there's going to be a lot of suppressed memories and suppressed traumas that you're not facing. For instance, today I was talking about it, and I was saying I can't really think of a trauma or something that's really shocked me or surprised me. Now, what I've done is I've suppressed a lot of memories. That's clear. I hold my hands up and say I'm the type to bottle up things, and I'm very what's the word? I am an internal person. I deal with things internally. But to sit there and say that nothing's bothering me and nothing's happened in my past is ridiculous. But this is my point. I'm vulnerable enough to say this, is that I am doing this as well. I've literally probably buried a lot of things that I don't want to come to the surface. Now, can I do that on my own and get the shovel and get to see the light of day? No, because I'm going to avoid it. And subconsciously, I might not be even aware of it. So if I'm not aware of it, I don't even know it exists. But it's there. We all have it. We all carry our rucksack full of stuff. As Susie said to me earlier, there's you either bury it, or you sweep it under the carpet until it's a huge mound, and then you trip over it, or it's a rucksack just full of weight, and you're just going to topple. So what we have to do is we have to lift the rug, sweep it out, see what we're sweeping under, get rid of the mound, or we take out the bits that are in our rucksack, and we share the weight. We get rid of the weight. So that's my long-winded analogy. I think I've gone out of analogies today.
That's one of the things that, one of the techniques about coaching that I've loved is the visualization part of it. Getting someone to visualize what something looks like, what it feels like, what it sounds like, and therefore what that's going to give you, like putting yourself in that moment. I really like that technique, and I use it quite a lot, maybe too much.
The visualizations are definitely powerful, and that's a lot of NLP too. But it was like the one time I did practice visualization, it was my favorite thing, because it's amazing to watch somebody and they close their eyes, and then you're guiding them through a visualization, which anybody can do. And then all of a sudden, like, you see their facial expression change, you see their body change, you see a smile creep over their face. And it's just really neat to think that, like, you're guiding it, and what's going on in their head, there's that feeling, and it's just like, you can't really fake it. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's really neat. I really want to delve down that a little bit more of the visualization, because it's so powerful for like us to use as a tool too. It's great. And I know that, like, I personally feel like I need a coach, because there's just things and feelings where I'm like, I come up with these ideas and these like scenarios where I'm like, I think I need this to get better, but I need validation from somebody, but it can't be somebody close to me, if that makes sense. It's one of the most frustrating things about myself is that I don't know who I need it from, but I feel like it's more along like the coaching lines or like someone like that, where it's like, I feel like I need validation from somebody that is at the place I want to be. I want to find that person that is where I want to get to, and then talk to them about what's going on in my life, what's going good, what's going bad, and then have that person validate and be like, you're going down the right path, you're doing the right thing. This is like, and then just like having the conversation. But it's finding that person. And again, that I'm going to bring up the word frustrated because it's like, why isn't the validation from people that are closest to me enough? You know?
But also the question is, why isn't the validation from yourself enough, right?
Yeah, because it isn't. It absolutely. I can look back and be like, I was here last year and now I'm here, and be like, I'm to myself, I'm never going to be good enough. And that is a very scary statement. And that's something that along the way, hopefully that changes that outlook. But as of right now, in this moment, that's what I believe. I am never going to be good enough to myself. And unpacking that rucksack is going to be a lot of work. So.
Yeah. But what I would say now for people watching as a coach, I would ask Jamie right then, I would nip it in the bud and say, okay, Jamie, what is enough? How big's enough? How do you measure enough?
And my answer to that question, for me, enough would be just waking up and just again, I'm all about feelings, and it's like me waking up and just feeling like today I'm going to do this little thing, and like it's enough. It's enough. And right now I feel like I'm kind of like in a hole of some sort, or I'm in a rut. I always use this analogy as the rut. And right now I'm in a rut, and I'm trying to climb out of this rut, and it's a lot of work because on the way down I didn't drop a rope, I didn't build a ladder, so I'm just grabbing at dirt and scratching my way up. And that's just it. That's life. And I'm all for it. I'm done making that rut. I'm on my way out. So.
And if I said to you, Jamie, you're not enough, it's all right that I've said that,
I'd be like, fuck you.
Right. So
I'll show you.
Why are you enough?
And
give me your list.
In that scenario, if somebody else tells me that, I just like, I get super defensive, and I'm going to say the opposite of what you just said to me. And the reasons.
A list of why you're enough, right?
And that's hard for me to do, because I know I'm enough, but like, why are any of us enough? Like, really? Is it I'm a good person? Is it because I have a house? Is it because like I can take care of myself? Like, is it because I'm an adult? Is it because I'm like going down this path where I'm trying to choose my own destination now and not like doing what someone just expects of me? There's all these, to me, it's like, why am I enough? I don't know that answer. There's all these like, maybe it's this, maybe it's that, maybe it's the other thing, right? So.
But is it fair to say that you would know enough? You would know if you were like laser focused on your values and your principles, like 100%. And the idea, it sounds like you're basing what is enough on other people's expectations. So
exactly.
If you could narrow it down to your expectations and your values, principles, what you wouldn't do, what you would do, and have your like own 10 commandments almost. Of course, you're going to fall short at times. We're human. But I feel that we all kind of suffer with that in some regards. And I guess that we set the terms. We set what is good enough. And again, that's a slippery slope, because our expectation could be way too high. And and a good way to measure that is to say, right, this is my expectation of me. But I reached that expectation, but I still talk to myself like I'm a bit of shit. Would I talk to myself the way I talk to my best mate or my mum or my dad or my family? No way. No. So that's maybe a good way, a good yardstick, a good acid test to see actually what I expect of them is actually what I expect of myself. And if I'm meeting that criteria, that's enough.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that negative language that we use, the way we beat ourselves up, that dialogue that we have with ourselves is so powerful. And it's that change of, instead of I can't, like, let's find the solution of like, how could I, or how can I?
Yeah.
And like, so Dean's right. And that goes into the self-belief, because obviously you're not believing in yourself that you're enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, to me right now, it's like, even though saying that, it's not like, it doesn't like bring me down. It's just like, this is a reality right now. And along this path, now that this is out in the open, now along the path, I can start collecting tools and figuring out how to like navigate this. It's like, it is what it is. And I mean, eventually, if we keep moving forward, we're going to get somewhere, and I'm going to get somewhere. And it's enjoying the journey.
I have a top that I brought that says, I am enough. And
That's
I
nice.
put that on, and I genuinely, I kind of get into the groove.
I think
Maybe
I
I
saw
need to
that
buy
the
a
other
nice.
day. I think I saw that the other day.
My I am enough top.
Yeah, it had tassels on it, didn't it?
Does it?
No, that was the other top.
That wasn't the top, Dean. Didn't know you'd seen that.
Those are just stickers.
No, Liz told me she's looking through your window.
You say that, but I have definitely flashed the gardener on several occasions. Because I've come out of my bathroom and my bedroom window's been open, and the garden, and I live on my own, so I don't think about things. And then the gardener's been right there, like, and I've been like, bye.
Is that why he's always pruning the bushes near your front door?
So
It's his favorite spot.
On a couple of occasions.
Oh,
nice.
We should probably leave it there.
Flashing the gardener. I think that's a good way to sign off.
Oh, Dean is definitely flashing people in his time.
I think so.
Oh, should we?
Back in his cupboard, I know it.
Before we go, should we talk about something that we're actually working on? Would that be way too much? But what we're trying to do, maybe if we can get some people's help, that would really, really appreciate it. Maybe we could have a little chat about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's.
Yeah. Right, guys.
And Dean, what are we working on?
So we kind of need you guys favor. I guess it's a favor if you want. So
cheeky little favor.
It's not even it's not cheeky. It's just a favor, really. It's like what mates do for each other. When you really love and adore someone, when you respect someone, you do these things for people, right? I mean, if you didn't, that would show a real lack of respect and love. So, yeah, anyway, no pressure. But if you guys are up for it, myself, Kylie, and Jamie, we're going to hopefully put together free training and a free masterclass. And we're going to do it on the idea of using kind of like a mindset training that you can apply in everyday life. So you won't have to go down the whole coaching route, and it will be different to just picking up a book and thinking that you're doing a bit of self-development. This would be like an actual course on how to use confidence, mindset, how to use perspective changes, accountability. Like, we're going to show you a range of coaching techniques that you can literally utilize and use in everyday life. And this is at work, with your boss, with your partner, with friends, how to kind of take control of a conversation, what to look out for, body language, confidence. Like, I can't go into too much detail, but it's something that we're putting together, and we're going to literally host it. We're going to be the trainers. We're going to be the coaches. And we want you guys to fill out a quick questionnaire just to get your opinion on what you would like from the course, some broad questions, what you're doing in your job, what's not going well, what's going well. So if you guys want to really help us out and fill that in, is there a link? Can we put a link at the...
The link will be available probably in an hour or so.
Perfect. Yep. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll post it on our social media. And if you could click the link, it's all kind of snazzy and virtual. And it would take, literally 2 minutes, James?
4 minutes.
4 minutes.
Whoa.
Whoa. So if you can spend 4 minutes of your valuable time, we would really, 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 really appreciate it to the moon and back. And it will go a long, long way to helping us create this incredible course that's going to come your way. Well, September? Oh.
No, I'd say more earlier than that, actually.
Yes.
Ding your boy.
Nice.
I think we could be looking at the summer.
Sweet. Yeah, this questionnaire will really help get our juices flowing.
Wow.
To actually know what to. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And it'll be really, really invaluable because, I mean, we're creating this course not for us, for you guys. So, I mean, the value we can add to you, if we got an insight and an idea of what kind of makes you tick, what's working, what's not, what can come in bloody handy for the outside world, it's going to go a long way to helping not only you, but the people that are on our course and the people that are taking part, and they're going to go away with some incredible value and skills that I'm hoping is going to change their lives. And,
absolutely. This is a life-changing course.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and you're not getting one coach. You're not even getting two coaches. You're getting four. No, sorry. You're getting 3 coaches, 3 world-accredited coaches. All right, so yeah.
And if you go over the 4 minutes, then we'll get Dean to sing you a song.
Yellow Submarine. By David Middleborough.
Because we heard him humming last night, and the boy can hold a tune.
Not as well as Jason, though. Maybe we can get Jason on. Jason's a good singer. Amazing singer.
Sweet.
Yeah. Cool. Any more questions? Anything you want to say?
I think we did good. We ran away with that pretty good. Just if you guys want to know more about us, we have our YouTube channel, the Treedom Coaches. We have our podcast, the Treedom Coaches. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts. Rate, review, subscribe. Come check us out. Support us. And watch what's going on. Watch what we're doing. We're walking we got the machete. We're making the path. So just come along for a ride.
Yeah. And thank you very much, guys, for all your support and the comments. It's been mind-blowing. Yeah, it's been great. So obviously we're grassroots, and when Jamie's driving around in his Mercedes, we'll send you a big thank you.
Starting with a van, Dean. I'm starting with a van.
Starting with a van. A Mercedes van.
Oh, don't be a white van driver, though.
No. Sweet. Okay. On that note, see you next time, guys.
See you, mate.
Bye.
Bye.